Night has fallen, and the moon is a glowing golden orb in the black sky. See how it shines on the dark back roads of America, and on one road in particular. Come with us, and we'll take a walk down the moonlit road, for the night is waiting, and the moon is full.
The Moonlit Road presents Episode 27, Deal with the Devil, written and told by David Hurt.
Now, I know what my pap used to say. You best take care of what you wish for, 'cause you just might get it. And that happened to the old blacksmith hereabouts, a man by the name of Lon. Now, my story also got to old witch woman of Stone Mountain in it. Now, not too many people know about her, but she lived here, down there at the end of Poplar Springs Road, where the old city swimming pool used to be, but, well, that's even back before then. Now, she made salves and poultices to help the sick and the weary to get better. Why, she could birth a baby or lay out the dead, didn't matter to her. Well, one day she come into old Lon's blacksmith shop a-looking to have her big old boilin pot fixed. Seems a leg had broke off. Now, let me tell you about Lon. He is no pillar of society. He drank, he gambled, and why, there's even some that said they heard him cuss on the Sabbath. But he did have a mighty respect for the old witch woman, knowed she could kill him dead if she wanted to. So he fixed that pot in jack time and wouldn't let her pay for it. So the old lady said she'd grant him 3 wishes, whatever he wanted, and he knew she was a-telling the truth. Right then she started her little chant. "This old woman don't take nothing for free. I'll grant you some wishes. Why, I'll grant you 3. Well, Lon knowed he'd better make up his mind, because she wouldn't leave till he did make his wishes. So he started to think real hard about his first wish. Well, seems Lon didn't like to lend out his tools. And some folks had come to his shop and in there messing around had lost some of his tools, and, well, a working man's tools are the trade of his life. So for his first wish, he asked the old woman to make it so's any time anybody touched one of his tools, it'd stick to him like glue, till he could come around and take it out of their hand. That way he'd know who's a-messing with his tools and he could fix 'em good. The old woman said, "It's done. Now what's your second wish?" Now, you gotta know that Lon just loved to take him a jug and sit on the front porch of his house and drink till the sun went down. But somebody's always moving his chairs, and he's always having to pull 'em back up on the porch, and so he wanted it fixed that if somebody sat in his chair, they'd be trapped there till he could see who it was and do something about it. Well, with a nod, the old lady said, "That's done." Now, for his third wish, Lon did some real thinking. Now, he's like the rest of us, make a penny, spend a dime, so he's always out of money and always needing more. He asked the old woman to fix up his change purse so that when he'd put money in, it wouldn't come out till he says so. In other words, make him think before he spent it. And that was the wish what was granted, same as the rest. With that, the old lady seen her debt paid to the blacksmith, and she up and left. Lon was glad to see she was gone, and he was still standing upright like a man, and she hadn't turned him into a pig or nothing. But soon he forgot about his wishes, what with all his drinking and his cussing and what little work he'd been doing. Then one day, right in the middle of the hottest day on record, this man walked into Lon's shop wearing all black clothes and a big old heavy wool coat. Lon thought this feller was a fool for being so fully dressed on such a hot day, till he looked him right in the man's eyes. They's yeller, like a dog's eyes, and they shortly shined like a cat's eyes. And it was right then and there that he knowed he was looking into the eyes of Beelzebub, the prince of darkness, while the devil hisself was a-standing right there in Lon's blacksmith shed. The devil talked to Lon in a voice that sounded like rumbling thunder. "Lon," he said, "you know why I'm here, and it's time to go. Your soul is mine." Now old Lon knowed where he was heading, and he didn't like it none too well. Why, going with the devil would put him in, well, Lon looked at the devil and asked if he could finish up on the job he was doing. This plowhead here needed sharpening. Well, the devil agreed, and Lon asked the devil to hand him that 8-pound sledgehammer to finish up the work. Well, when the devil grabbed a hold of that hammer, his hand was locked tight around the handle and he couldn't set it down. And the devil went to cussing and spitting and shaking and jumping, for he couldn't take nothing from this world back to his world except a mortal soul. To put it plain like, the devil was stuck, and both him and Lon knowed it. With a grin on his face, Lon told the devil he was ready to make a deal. Now, you got to know, dealing with the devil is mighty scary, but old Lon knowed he was going to win this one. It were a simple deal. "Mr. Devil, I'll get that hammer out your hand if you'll leave me here on earth and give me another 10 years of living." Well, the devil knowed he'd been skinned, and by a mortal as dumb as Lon, no less, so he agreed. Lon took back his hammer, and with a puff of smoke and a smell there's none too kind, the devil was gone. Well, now I want yous to know that 10 years to the day, the devil strode back into Lon's shop like he owned the place and slapped his hand down on that barrel head and told Lon, "Son, it's time to be a-going, and none of your foolishness. Stop what you're a-doing and come with me." Now, Lon knowed he had no choices, so he quietly laid down his tools and followed the devil out of his shop. But he stopped at the door and he said, "Mr. Devil, I'm going to make a mighty long journey, and I know I'm going to run into people I know down there. I was wondering if I could stop by my house and wash up before we go." Well, the devil put his mind to it and thought, and then he said, surely it'd be all right for Lon to stop by his place, for he's on the way anyhow. There's a short walk to Lon's house, and when they got there, Lon started to wash up, and he told the devil to just have a seat right there in that old rocking chair, rest for a bit for this long journey. Well, no sooner had the devil sat down than he knowed he was in trouble. He was jammed stuck tight to that chair, couldn't move, and the devil went to cussing and spitting and shaking and jumping, for he knowed that one more time he'd been took by a mortal. In time, another deal was made, and the devil were allowed out of that chair, and he gave Lon another 10 years. And with a puff of smoke and a smell as none too kind, the devil was gone. Now, the next 10 years of Lon's life went by real fast, like it was but a minute. And the next thing old Lon knowed, well, there's the devil in his shop and in his face, a-foaming at the mouth and telling Lon it was time to go. "No more your tricks, Lon. No more jobs to finish. No stops to freshen up. Nothing. Now pack up and let's go, and I mean right now." And with that, the devil took old Lon by the arm, and out the door they went. They'd been on their journey when Lon noted that he were thirsty, and the devil agreed he was too. Now, Lon said he knowed a place where they could get a cold drink, but he turned his own pockets inside out to show the devil his broke flatter than half his bustle. But Lon had a plan. He looked at the devil and he said, "Sir, I know how powerful you are, and I know you can be anything you need to be to steal a man's mortal soul, so I got an idea." Lon explained to the devil that if he were to change into 2 thin dimes, Lon could go in and buy him each a cold drink, and as soon as he left the place with them drinks, the devil could change into a butterfly or a moth or whatever and fly out of that change drawer in the store and come outside to where Lon would be awaiting. They'd have their cold drinks, and they'd be on their way. Now, the devil liked this idea. He could show off his powers, skin a mortal out of some of his due, and still take his soul to the underworld. So with a blink, he changed into 2 thin dimes, and into Lon's change purse he went, and as soon as he were in there, he knowed one more time he had been tricked, and for a 3rd time. Now, if that ain't something. Well, the old devil went to cussing and a-spitting and shaking, but there was no way he were going to get out of Lon's change purse, less than Lon wanted him out, and Lon weren't about to take that chance. Lon figured if the devil was ever to get loose, he'd bring down the wrath on old Lon, so the devil was forever to stay in that there change purse. Well, don't you know that Lon was sooner or later bound to die of natural causes, as many folks around here said is his drinking. So Lon presented himself to the gates of heaven, and St. Peter wouldn't even talk to him, for he had the devil in his pocket. So when he presented himself to the gates of hell, well, the harpies can't let him in, for he's the man what snookered the devil 3 times in a row, and they'd need special permission from the boss, and he weren't nowhere around to be found. So old Lon to this day is stuck somewhere between heaven and, you know, down there. But they's folks that say they can still see Lon to this day. You know how on a summer's night you see lightning but you don't hear no thunder? Some people call it heat lightning. Well, some say that's just old Lon twixt heaven and wherever with the devil in his pocket, just a cussing and a spitting and a shaking and a jumping for to get out of that change purse. Now, I don't rightly know, but I will tell you one thing. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That concludes this tale from the Moonlit Road. Be sure to visit our website at themoonlitroad.com to find out more about our stories and let us know how we're doing. The Moonlit Road is produced and directed by Craig Dominy, recorded and soundscaped by Henry Howard in beautiful Stone Mountain, Georgia. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.